What's up, everybody? Welcome into another Big Men on Campus college football preview video. Today we are taking a look at the Week 4 Saturday college football card. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you're ready to go here on an early start of the show. Figured I'd get on a little earlier so we can, educate you a little quicker, get your games in a little earlier, and we can have some fun here along the way. So if you're out there, you're joining the show, please let us know. Say hello. Let me get some retweets out here. Just bear with me 1 second. We'll let some people come in here. I'm rushing around a little early this morning, obviously, because I started a little earlier. Had to get my coffee in me, get ready for the day. So bear with me here. Feel free to comment. Let me know what you're on, what you want to talk about. We'll get to as many games as we can here today. So Week 4, last night, had some interesting games. Those are in the past, though. Got to get to today's card. I didn't really release anything last night. I considered taking Air Force. It was a rough one if you had Air Force. They probably should have covered that game. But let's get into the show here. We'll start out with the 12 o'clock games. This card's interesting. I actually kind of like it. There's a lot of spots today where, like last week, you have a lot of underdogs that can get the job done. We'll see how they can do. We'll get to all the games. We'll start kind of up at the top. We want to start with the 12 o'clock games. Let me get my FanDuel up here. I want to make sure I have those lines. Those are my lines that I always try to reference. A couple of shout-outs here before we get started. Brady, Space Monkey, Crypto, Little E, Arthur, 2011, AJN, LJ, Franklin, Vegas, Justin. What's happening? Welcome in. Couple people asking about Louisville, Florida State. Yeah, I like Louisville in this game. What has Florida State really shown you? They haven't shown me much. They haven't shown me that they can stop anybody. They haven't shown me that they can really be competent whatsoever on the defensive end. And this is a Louisville team that I think is going to be able to move the ball in this game. Obviously, we want to see what Juwan Pass's status is. But if it's Malik Cunningham, I don't hate that. I think he can move the ball. I think either quarterback can move the ball. And this is a Florida State team that continues to kind of go the opposite way of Louisville. Louisville has a new coach. They seem to be making some strides. And look, if you're Louisville, you have to find a way to win this game. If you want to get to a bowl game, you want to have a season towards the end of the year where you're playing for some sort of, ability to make a bowl, you've got to win this game. This is a big game for Louisville. This is a big game for their improvement. This is a big game for their season, and they need to have it. I just don't really think Florida State should be a favorite of this magnitude to really anyone. So if I had to play this one, I would be looking at the Louisville Cardinal. Cal, Mississippi, early start here for these two groups. And, a lot of people have been surprised at, or not surprised at how good Cal's been defensively. They always are very good defensively under their coach. The thing is, Ole Miss has been very good defensively as well. They've been a team that struggled to move the football. They've really been kind of the opposite of what we expect from Mississippi over the last couple years. Matt Luke's group has not gotten good quarterback play, but they have gotten good land shark defense, which we remember from 3 or 4 years ago. They're playing good football so far this year. And you look at Cal, all 3 of their games have gone under the number. And you look at over the last 3 seasons, guys, Cal games are 20-7 to the under. They play low, this group, and it's just that simple. They're slow. They grind it out. They defend well. And you look at Cal so far this season, I mean, the completion percentage has been low. They've not been able to really move the football at a high level. And they, generally play games that are in the 20s. You have a total at 42.5 in this game. I'll be interested with Ole Miss. They've actually been tested a little bit early. I thought what they did against Memphis was impressive, particularly defensively. Only hold Memphis to 15 points. That's impressive. Hold Arkansas to 17. I mean, both better offenses than what you're going to face today. Look, if I played this game early start, Cal coming to the East Coast, um, you know, I'm leading under in this game. I think it's a sleepy start, maybe a first half under. Could be a sleepy start down in Oxford, in kind of a weird, West Coast East Coast matchup. Thanks for checking out the show. I appreciate you. Thanks all of you. Means a lot for you checking it out. Dag, what's happening? Saying Hunter Johnson's completing just 43% of his passes. Yeah, he's not been good. And this game looks to be a drabby affair as well. Northwestern, Michigan State. I will say, though, you look at Northwestern, they have been very good against the spread as an underdog. In fact, I believe they've covered 11 of 12 as a dog. The only loss coming in just a wild ending a few weeks ago against Stanford. If not for that game, they have covered 12 straight as an underdog. It's pretty simple. When Pat Fitzgerald's getting points, you almost have to back them. And again, I mean, both good defensive teams. Not like this Northwestern team is inept on that side of the football. The quarterback play is just not good enough. And I have a hard time feeling like, this group can score more than 10 points today. This game just seems like 16-13, doesn't it? I even at this total, it's in the mid-30s. I outlined, though, you look at the last 3 games between these two teams, 29-19, 39-31, 54-40. And all those totals are in the 40s. So, for whatever reason, this game has kind of found big plays over the last couple of years. But, yeah, again, we also have to remember, and when we're talking about underdog Northwestern, we also have to remember that over the last few seasons, they had a guy named Clayton Thorson. They had a guy named Justin Jackson in the run game. They don't have those two guys anymore. This is not Northwestern of old. So when we talk about Northwestern as a dog, we can mention that, but we also have to mention that this isn't the same football team either. Still very good defensively, but not good offensively. I don't trust them at all. Lil Nard Thomas, welcome in. Thanks for watching. Nick, Ron, Above the Clouds, Comic Ricky, Anthony, Connor, what's happening? Northwestern is just so bad. Think people are overlooking that. Yeah. Can't look past the fact that this team isn't good on offense. Just can't move the ball. What's up, Christofferson? Did I bet Norwich again? No, I have not bet. No, I don't really ever bet Norwich. All I bet is Timu Puki to score any time. No, I don't bet Norwich to win. I just bet that Timu Puki scores. I don't think I bet Norwich at all this year. Again, I'm only betting on him scoring. To me, that's where the value clearly lies. What else do we have here? Let's keep it moving in college football. Say hello if you're out there. Join the chat. One thing I hate about FanDuel is they mix in the FCS games as well. So it bogs down the odds feed because I got to get through those games. All right, Michigan, Wisconsin. A lot of people have asked me this week why I'm on Michigan. Well, first of all, I'm getting 3.5 points. Second of all, I think this is a terrific spot for the Wolverines. I know Wisconsin's off a bye. Both teams are off a bye. But for Michigan, I thought the bye came at a great time. They needed it. They didn't play well. It's not that they didn't play well against Army. I think that's what people don't seem to understand. Michigan actually played quite well against Army. They just turned the football over at the worst times in the worst spots, and they had to fight for a win. Here's the thing, though, about that game. First of all, if you know anything about college football, you know that Army is a very good football team. They're going to win 11 games this year. So beating them by a few points or anything is not a big deal. You hear all these people. Well, Big Ben, they almost lost to Army. But Army's a good football team. I don't know I'm not quite sure what you're getting at there. Army's a really good team, and they're very hard to prepare for in week 2. You spent a lot of time in your week 1 game plan. You had to come right back. You had to face a triple option team that makes it difficult. Here's the thing, though. They won. That's all that matters for Michigan. They won a game they shouldn't have. against a good football team. I mean, remember last year, Oklahoma almost lost to Army. This is a good football team. So Michigan had to spend the time getting back to Michigan football, not turning the football over, not committing dumb penalties, and getting healthy. That was kind of the big thing with this Michigan group. They aren't healthy, and they weren't healthy. John Runyon was out of the game, the left tackle. Michael Dwumfor, he was out. He may not play today, though, either, which is a big loss. Getting Donovan Peoples-Jones, he made the trip. Getting him back. Getting all these guys back in there, they're missing some really good players on this team. So all that, the bye week really helped. Ball security, getting that back. Look, if Michigan had turned the football over, I think they'll win this game. It's very simple. They're a better team than Wisconsin. And I'm not going to be shaded that Wisconsin beat South Florida and Central Michigan. Both those teams are bad football teams. They're not making bowl games. Central Michigan's one of the worst teams in the country. I mean, there's really not two ways to slice it. Wisconsin does this seemingly every year. They beat 2 or 3 teams by 50, and we all say, Wisconsin's back. And look, I'm going to tell you, I love John Taylor. I think he's terrific. But what I'll tell you, though, is I think Michigan is really going to be helped in this game by that game against Army. I think they learned how to defend the run. It's a physical game. I think it almost will benefit them in this kind of game. Wilson's going to get – Taylor's going to get his. It's pretty clear. But I just don't trust Jack Cohen. I don't have any reason to think that he could beat Michigan. I think Michigan will, as the game goes on, get better defensively. This game's going to be out who can convert in the red zone and who doesn't. I think Michigan opens the playbook up a little bit today. I don't see a 3-point difference between these two today. I think Michigan's a better football team. I think the bye week helped them well. I'll be on them here, and I'm on them here. Getting 3.5. Do me a favor, guys, if you're out on Twitter, retweet this show, please. It's a great way to get it out there. I know we made a time change, and so many people see what they want to see on Twitter for some reason. If I started this show at 11:30, everyone would be in here. Why do you start at 11? What's going on here? Yet when I start it for the better, people forget it or something. But either way, thanks to you that are here. We have plenty of people in here. So do me a favor, retweet the show, get it out there. Let's keep it moving here. Army. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, Army's going to beat Morgan State by 50 today. Mark that down. If you can get this game, bet it. Army's laying 45.5. They're at home. Morgan State has they're going to get destroyed in this game. For anyone that doesn't know who Morgan State is, Morgan State's a team from the MEAC. They're an HBCU, and they suck at football. You look at some of their games this year already. Keep in mind, they played Army a couple years ago and lost 60-3. I think the game's similar here. This is a group that lost to Bowling Green 46-3 and James Madison 63-12. Army's going to put up 55 in this game. Should win 55-0, 55-3, 55-6. For Morgan State, this is just a nice trip up to West Point. They get to see the military academy, and they get some money for playing in this game. That's all this is. Army generally in these spots destroys inferior opponents. This is a case of unprepared against prepared. And yes, I will lay 45.5 in this game. They will beat Morgan State badly. If I'm Army as well, I want to right the wrongs from week 1. They're still thinking about that game, and I don't think they are fully past that game either. Thank you. Appreciate it, Jeff Venner. Appreciate that. Very kind. TM, Greg, RS, David, Gerald, Victor, what's happening? What do I think about the LSU game? I don't have much opinion on the LSU game. They're playing a bad team, inferior opponent. They should have no problem with the game. Jeff, on vacation in the Philippines. You're coming in loud and clear. Very good. Thanks for watching. Shout out to the Philippines. All right. Jeff, why is the BC line dropping? Is the Rutgers quarterback playing, and does it matter? Yeah, I saw that actually last night. I saw the line moved a little bit. Maybe they're just fading my action here. But yeah, listen, If McLean Carter plays, I would be very surprised. I mean, he didn't practice all week. Um, Arthur Sitkowski's been ruled the starter. I mean, he's got a concussion. I don't think he's just gonna somehow just start, being able to play. He hasn't practiced. I don't know what the move is all about. I'm not sure. Again, if I just got worried about every move when I bet a game, I would always be worried. People ask me all the time. They always DM me and they say, "Why'd this game move?" I don't know. I have no idea. I'm getting the same info as you for the most part. I don't know. I have no idea. If I knew, I would tell you. People are always saying, "Oh, hey, what's going on here?" I have no idea. All I know is Rutgers is a bad team. They suck defensively. I don't think they're going to move the ball particularly well today. I like BC. They're off a big loss. Had an extra day to prepare here. I think they come out. And under Adazia, they've been very good in these kind of games. Off a loss. This is a particularly bad loss. I have no problem with this game. Look, if BC wins this game by 6, then whatever. To me, it's a 31-13 type of game. It's just that simple. I saw this line. I bet it. That's why for me, like, when I lose games, it sucks, but I think this is the right side. I don't think Rutgers is any good. They have a backup quarterback, and if you know anything about Sitkowski, he has had no presence at all in the pocket. He doesn't seem like he has any idea what he's doing. So for me, I think it's a great spot for BC to kind of get off the mat a little bit, beat up a bad football team, and respond here. It's funny. There's actually a stat. There's a trend you can get. It's called basically off of an embarrassing upset loss by 21 points or more as a home favorite. And in the Steve Adazio era, they've never had these kind of losses. But off a home loss, they're actually 3-2 against the spread over the last 3 seasons. So they have bounced back in this spot. So we'll see. But yeah, that's my angle. There's really not much of an angle. I just think they're a better team. I don't care about last week. It is what it is. They still have a good quarterback. They still have one of the best running backs in the country. If you want to bet the other side, go ahead. Would I take Boston College first half? I actually like the full game because I think they're going to play well in the first half. I think they're really going to pull away in the second half. So yeah, I'm just going to stick with the full game. All right, guys, let's keep it moving here. I want to keep hitting some of these. Tennessee, Florida. Don't have much on that one. I've talked about Tennessee. I just don't think they're very good. Southern Miss, Alabama. Southern Miss, I want to make this clear, is not that bad a football team. Here's the problem with Southern Miss. They are bad defensively. They're going to give up a lot of points today at Alabama. Southern Miss is off a game where they gave up 42 points to Troy and Caleb Barker. Alabama's going to put up some points in this game. It's just that simple. Question is, can Southern Miss hang around enough to get through the back door? I will say this. Jack Abraham, pretty good quarterback. They have some speed at Southern Miss. I don't believe this isn't some lower level, Sun Belt team or an FCS team. This is a competent opponent. If you said bet this, you have a free play, I would take Southern Miss. I think there's going to be some points in this game, though. I'd probably look over the total. Alabama should push 45 or more. I'm willing to think Southern Miss can grab, 14, 17 here. Going to be a lot of playing from behind for Southern Miss, and they throw the ball. They're not a team that really focuses much on the run. Jack Abrams is going to throw the ball a ton. Keep in mind, though, last year, Jack Abraham, number 1 in the country in completion percentage. Western Michigan, Syracuse, another game should have some points. Finally should be the day where Syracuse's offense gets going a little bit. If they can't get going against this Western Michigan group, I don't know what to say. Line does seem a little short as well. Why is this number only 4.5? Western Michigan is not a good football team. I don't know what this number is all about. Syracuse at home laying 4.5. I think this is just an overreaction to the last couple weeks. But yeah, it's definitely been disappointing this year for Syracuse so far. mean, haven't scored more than 24 points in any game. Keep in mind they played Maryland and Syracuse, or Maryland and Clemson. But you hope this is the game where you can really get going. I mean, these next two games, there were 3-4 games you should get going. This is a tipping off point, as I like to say, for a team like Syracuse. This should be a game where, I mean, to be real honest with you, Syracuse shouldn't lose the rest of the season. I mean, none of their games they'll be an underdog in. Maybe one, but this is a tipping off point for Syracuse. They need to go and win 9 in a row now, which they should be able to do. The offense needs to get going. It needs to get going today. I moved also one of my other plays. I bet I have 3 plays out so far. I took, and again, feel free to tailor fade whatever you want. I'm totally even on the season. I took Michigan plus 3.5. I took a game that we'll get to in a little bit, and then I took UL Lafayette plus 3 against Ohio. This is just a case of matchups for me. Oh, and I by the way, I took Boston College minus 8.5. Yeah, I took UL Lafayette, Ohio, which for some reason just jumped off my board. What is that all about? Oh, there it is. Never mind. Didn't jump off my board. Yeah, this is simply a game about matchups for me, UL Lafayette and Ohio. Here's the thing about Lafayette. They are an unbelievable rushing offense. Unbelievable. I mean, they have a 3-headed monster at running back that you don't want to see. Whether it's Regis, whether it's Calais, whether it's Mitchell, it doesn't matter. This team can run the football. And they're facing an Ohio team that's 112th in the country in rushing defense. They're giving up almost 6 yards a carry. This is a bad matchup. It's very simple to me. And I go with matchups. I actually like what I've seen out of Levi Lewis. He's been a good game manager for them. He hasn't turned the football over. And I like overall what I've seen from this group. I love their performance against Mississippi State. If they didn't turn the football over a few times, they would have won that game. If you watch that game, you've seen it. They were right in that game the entire way. Beat up a decent Liberty team, held them to 14 points, which is impressive. I think they have a better defense here. I think they have an offense that's going to be able to move the ball against a team that can't stop the run. And this Ohio team is very good. I don't think they're a vintage Ohio team. You look at last week against Marshall. They gave up a lot of yards on the ground. A lot of yards. I want to say they gave up over 300 on the ground. They were really poor in that game. Lost it as well. And this has been the calling card for Ohio. They just put up these odd defensive performances where sometimes they look like world beaters and some nights they can't stop anybody. And it normally comes in the middle of the season. And you look at over the next couple of games, I get a feeling Ohio continues to struggle getting stops. For me, I think the wrong team's favorite here. I know why they are. They're at home, but I think UL Lafayette's prepared for this game. I think they run the ball effectively, establish the run. I like them in this spot, getting 3 points. That is on my card. How about Tulsa? Someone's asking. Yeah, I like Tulsa actually today. And then if I had to play it, I would lay the points. Wyoming has been probably the luckiest team in the country. If you've looked, and I think it is important when some people just sit there and love watching NFL, but on Sundays I spend a lot of time after doing the show that I do. I watch a lot of highlights from games that I missed, and I basically go over them and kind of figure out, did the right team cover? Did the right team win? Did they get a lot of breaks? There's probably been no luckier team in the country than Wyoming. They've been outgained in every game this year, and they found ways to win. The Missouri game, we all saw those highlights. We know what happened there. The Texas State game, they were down 14-3 in that game. Texas State just, as usual, can't find the end zone. They outgained them in that game. Then they went out and played Wyoming. I mean, look, Wyoming is a team that when they played the Vandals, Idaho gave up 70-plus points to Penn State. They won by 5, Wyoming. They just – Sean Chambers was horrific. And Tulsa, I've talked about, they have an underrated defense. I think they finally got off the bat and beat Wyoming today. Wyoming's been overrated all season. They've been lucky as fuck. This is a tough trip down to Tulsa. I think Tulsa gets the job done here. What else do we have here? Comments. What do I think about Kansas getting points against West Virginia? Two teams that can't move the football. I don't have any interest in that game. West Virginia is lost right now offensively, and Kansas, I don't know what to expect week to week from them. I mean, they lose to Coastal Carolina and put up 7 points, and then they put up a ton of points last week against BC, and just one of those weird games that one team just plays their asses off. Thank you, Rob Taz. I like Nebraska minus 13 against Illinois. Any thoughts? I lean over in that game. One thing about Illinois, they're going to be a good over team all season to me. Defensively, they're not good. And offensively, they finally have a quarterback. They have a guy named Brandon Peters at quarterback. He's a transfer from Michigan. He could run that offense. I don't trust Nebraska at all on defense either. So I look at both these teams. I'd expect them to throw the football a lot in this game. If I'm getting a total in the 60s, I'm looking over the number. Both teams shouldn't have any trouble putting points on the board. What was the consensus on Michigan, Wisconsin? I've talked about that game about 50 times this week. If you didn't get my breakdown, I don't know what else to say, guys. Listen, I want to tell everyone while we have you here, please subscribe to the channel. I do individual breakdowns of 5 or 6 games a week. I do a mega preview on Wednesday, kind of get out ahead of some of these lines. Most of the games you guys are asking about, I have talked about in some form of fashion this week. So please subscribe to the channel. Check out what I have going on. The video previews, most of them are 10 minutes or less. Very simple. I bring on handicappers and we talk about the games. I did a Michigan one with a friend of mine who's a Big Ten expert. There's a ton about the Big Ten. We had a good breakdown. So, and feel free to watch the show after we go back over things, or you can recap and rewind. Talked about Ole Miss already. Temple Buffalo thoughts. Tough game for Temple. Coming off that big win against Maryland last week. It's going to be a tough bounce back spot. Buffalo's not great, but I think they're competent. I think this is a sleepy game for Temple. Up in Buffalo, you get the AAC schedule starting next week. You got to win this game by 2 clear touchdowns. Problem by having this game is how does Buffalo move the ball? I think one thing we learned about Temple last week is they are really good again defensively. And that's just what Rod Carey's teams do. They're good defensively. They're not normally good offensively, but I think this Temple team is. They're going to be a dangerous team all season because they're the one team in the American that plays some defense. I think this is a tough game, though, tonight. I think they have to grind it out. But I ask myself, if I like Buffalo, how do they score points? Where does that come from? UTSA, North Texas. You ask about UTSA every week, and I don't really follow much of UTSA. All those teams, UTSA, UTEP, they're completely useless in the grand scheme of college football. They don't ever make bowl games. They're normally not good. North Texas shouldn't have any trouble in that game against UTSA. UTSA stink. What else do we have here? This fucking FanDuel, man. They just throw these FCS games in the middle here, and I get confused here. By the way, little nugget. One of the worst passing defenses in the country is Troy. Just letting you guys know that. But I don't know how much Akron can beat them up. Central Florida, Pittsburgh. See a lot of people jumping in on Pittsburgh here. Mark Whipple in that offense. Central Florida is pretty legit. This is a tough spot for UCF. On the road, up in Pittsburgh. Got the AAC schedule coming up. But this is a game I think they want to get. I think they're much better than Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's been bad for some time. This has been an average team. Occasionally they'll find ways to win big games, but this has mostly been an inconsistent, bad defensive team. Gun to my head, I think Central Florida. One of the better defensive teams in the country has been TCU. No one's talking about. If they can just stay with Max Duggan at quarterback, they will win a lot of football games this year. I mark TCU as a bet on team from a wins perspective. I have over 7.5 wins this year. I really like TCU. Really like them. They're playing an SMU team today at home. SMU's going with Shane Buechele at quarterback, the former Texas quarterback who has faced TCU before, didn't go swimmingly well. TCU is a terrific defensive team. I think they shut Buechele down, shut SMU down. Gary Patterson at home, an approved offense. Just stay with Max Duggan. It's very simple, Gary. Stay with Max. Stop fucking throwing Alex Delton out there. What else do we have here? Kentucky, Mississippi State. Another team that I seemingly think's going the wrong way, Mississippi State. I did not like what I saw out of their quarterback, Tommy Stevens, last week. The coach will say he was hurt. Looks like he was benched. Kentucky is a team that they're the last team you want to play when you're having trouble. Kentucky just always finds ways to stay in games and win them. They have a decent ground attack. They have a quarterback now that I think can throw the football in Sawyer Smith. And this is a Mississippi State defense that continues to struggle. They have made a 180 for the wrong way defensively. Last year, they just lost so many good players. And their defense has struggled. They're not getting off the field on third down. They're giving up a lot of points and a lot of yards. Mississippi State, interesting line here. I know they're at home and they really only have to win by a touchdown, but I have a hard time backing this team right now. They have been hard to watch on that end. Just Blaze, I've been following you for years. I value your opinion very much. Thank God. Appreciate that. Jeff, you bring on handicappers that are no good. That is the only problem. Well, you would be a guy that would whine about free info. Just a complete melt you are. You sound a little jealous that you're not on the videos because nobody knows who the fuck you are. But hey, thanks for watching. Keep watching. All I can say to people that don't like what we do, thanks for watching. All right. What's up, KD? Would I play the under in Michigan or Michigan State? Yeah, I would definitely lean towards playing the under in the Northwestern game. I mean, Dag mentioned it earlier. One of the listeners here. I mean, Hunter Johnson looks lost out there. Those are two very good defenses. Is UConn any good? No, they're not. One thing about UConn that I will say that I'm impressed by, I think offensively they are decent. Kevin Mentz is a pretty good running back. He's a guy that can go out and get you a first down. He can move the football. So yeah, they're not any good. I mean, but I think they're improving. Thank you, Ricky. Appreciate that. Thoughts on Oregon? I actually really like Oregon this week. I mean, let me ask you something with Stanford. Why do we keep acting like this team is good? Because they're Stanford. Listen, let me tell you something about Stanford. Toby Gerhart ain't walking through the door. Andrew Luck ain't walking through the door. Solomon Thomas isn't walking through the door. Christian McCaffrey isn't walking through the door. This is not a good football team. We need to stop acting like they are. And this is a terrible spot if you're Stanford for one reason and one reason only. You look at the latest two games for the Cardinal, right? They've given up 90 points combined. They faced Dylan Gabriel and Keon Slovis, which are good quarterbacks. I'm not going to tell you they're not. They're good young quarterbacks. They're freshmen. But Justin Herbert is on another level. What are they going to do against this guy? They've struggled already against two freshmen. What are they going to do against Herbert? There's playmakers all over this Oregon team. I'm going to come out and say it. Stanford will make a bowl game this year. It's that simple. They're just not that good. You got a tough schedule here, too. I mean, you have a lot of tough games. You got this game today. I mean, people laugh at Oregon State, but they're an improving football team. Washington is obviously very tough. Arizona's got a good quarterback. Colorado in Colorado's tough. You got to go up to Wazoo. You got to play Cal. You got Notre Dame. This is just not that good a football team. And I'm not going to keep acting like I need to respect them because they're Stanford. They got a coach that no balls. They have a defense that can't fucking defend. And they have an average quarterback with very few playmakers. That's what Stanford is. It's that simple. Any Texas A&M Auburn thoughts? Two teams that are very good against the run. Two quarterbacks they think will struggle. I'd lean under. You should bring Peter Loshak back for a few episodes. I've tried contacting Peter. Seems to be very busy. He's been on before, but it's not for not trying. Look, many of you know my situation's going to be changing pretty soon. So a lot of the YouTube stuff, it probably won't continue. I'm going to be doing content somewhere else. So I hope all of you will follow me. I'm not sure when that will be, but by basketball season, it's likely going to change. And for me, I've always talked about my goal was to elevate my platform. And that's what I'm doing. So I don't know how long this will continue, but however long I can continue doing it, I will. And I look forward to doing more of this kind of content somewhere else. All right, let's keep it moving here. Any chance App State wins this game outright? Yeah, John, I was thinking about that. I think the kind of glass slipper fell off last week with UNC. I fell into the trap of grabbing them, and they almost covered, but almost doesn't win in this business. You either win or you don't. This is an interesting game because App State is a good football team. They're probably the best Sun Belt team in the in that conference. But I have to wonder about last week or 2 weeks ago when they played. They had a bye week, which is good. And you look for App State, the bye week came at a good time. They have a P5 opponent off a bad defensive performance. I would have to think Eli Drinkowitz got that defense going. And this is a guy in Drinkowitz that's seen NC before. He was the offensive coordinator down at North Carolina State. This is a in-state matchup. We all know that App State's going to be up for this game. And they've had some time to prepare, which you like to see. You always want that extra time here. Zach Thomas played pretty well in that game against the 49ers, but this was a game for App State where they wanted to establish the run, and they sure did. Darrington Evans had 234 yards. He was on fire. And this is a defensive team for UNC that I need to see a bounce back from. Jay Bateman's team needs to get off the mat. And I'll tell you what, Sam Howell looked like a freshman last week, didn't he? If that App State defense gets back to what we know them for, it could be a long day for Howell and UNC. I'm not ready to say they will, but don't be surprised if App State's in this game late. Great time for the bye last week. Drinkowitz knows UNC pretty well from his days at North Carolina State. This is a tough matchup for UNC heading into that big ACC schedule. Colorado ASU, no real opinion on that game. What ASU team are we going to get off that win against Michigan State, who they seem to play well every year? Colorado State has playmakers all over the place, but I'm not a big fan of Steven Montez. Just two teams that I'm not big fans of, to be real with you. I love Chenault, but I'm just not a Montez guy. What's up, B Smooth? Is Rice that garbage? So is Rice bad, and are they worth fading today against Baylor? Yes, because Baylor is really good. I'm infatuated with Baylor and TCU. I think they're both really interesting teams. Baylor just seems to be forgotten about. And I know they've played Stephen F. Austin and UTSA, but they are putting up some points, aren't they? The running game has playmakers all over it. I mean, you look at the run game. I mean, whether it's Ebner, John Lovett, Abraham Smith, Jermichael Hasty. I mean, this team has playmakers all over the place. Denzel Mims at receiver, Tyquan Thornton, Charlie Brewer at quarterback. Good thing about Matt Rule is he's really putting patsies on this schedule Baylor shouldn't have any trouble with Rice today. Obviously, Rice is down near Houston. I don't know what again, checking out what the travel situation was like with Baylor's probably important. Yeah, I know they've had some flooding and stuff down there, which you pray for those people. Again, I'm pretty ignorant in the situation. I don't know how, was it tough for Baylor getting in or anything like that? You have barges hitting bridges. I mean, you have all sorts of sad things. So I would think they'd be fine, but you might want to check with maybe some Baylor, media and make sure they got in all right. But weather looks good in this game. I mean, mid 80s and clear. So you just want to maybe check with that. It is a weird weather event, a bad weather event. So you want to make sure those guys got in okay. By the way, in the Premier League right now, Man City's up 6-0, 53 minutes in. It is shocking how bad Watford is. They are so bad defensively. It is amazing. What else do we have here? What more do we have in college football? Any opinion on West Virginia? Talked about it. Don't have much on it. Any thoughts on Ole Miss? Listen, guys, we can't keep coming in here an hour into the show and asking about games. Guys, the show starts at 10:30 from now on. Hope you all know that. For me, it's not good podcasting to just go back and talk about the same stuff. Sorry if you're late. I can't go back and keep talking about stuff. For most of the people in here, they heard it, so it's hard to go back on it. Troy and Sandra watching from the Keys. Wow, I'd love to come to the Keys, man. Love to. It sounds like a beautiful place. Sounds like a great place to be. Someday, my life will be relaxation. That's where I'll be. Not the Keys, but somewhere nice. Good for you guys. Cheers. Charlotte plus 42. I think it's too many points as well. I think Charlotte can get into the teens points wise. I just think it's too many as well. Charlotte's not as bad as people think. Look, there's going to be a lot of points for Clemson in that game, but I think Charlotte can maybe come through the back door, maybe a 49-13 type of game. I could see that. Any thoughts on Oregon, Stanford? Dino talked about that one, like Oregon. We did a preview on my channel if you want to watch it. Joe Duffy, who's been very good this season so far on our videos, he likes Oregon in that game. He had Oregon last week. What else do we have here? Keep up the good work. Listening here in Amish country, PA. How about that? I'm not too far from you. Good stuff. Caleb, what's up? Hustle, man, what's happening? Southern Miss backdoor cover. I don't disagree with you. I think Southern Miss and Charlotte can both come through the back door today. One team that will not come through the back door, that's Morgan State. Army's going to win 63-3. You lay the 45.5. Don't have any issues with that. What else do we have here? We got about, I'll stay on to 11:30. We'll do a full hour. So I got about 15 minutes here. Here's what we'll do. Questions, throw them out. If I went over your game, I will not talk about it. So that's how you know if I went over it already. Before I do that, though, I want to talk about Oklahoma State and Texas. Big game tonight down in Austin. Listen, I've talked about this maligned, bad, shocking Texas defense. I think they suck. I firmly believe that I could grab 10 listeners and we can go out and score or move the ball against Texas. They suck. Todd Orlando, it's shocking the guy makes $1 million a year. He sucks. He's a terrible coach. And Oklahoma State is the last team you want to play when you're struggling to stop anybody. Spencer Sanders is a good quarterback. Chuba Hubbard is terrific. Tylan Wallace is the best receiver in the country. But then again, I look at Oklahoma State and I say, well, I mean, who's this team going to stop? Overs have not come in seemingly in these games this year so far. I think this one comes in. I just think we see two teams that are going to throw the football. I don't think either team is particularly set on establishing the run. I mean, that's the thing that really hurts unders when teams are trying to establish the run a ton. I mean, Texas has been good. They haven't been great running the football, but you look at every week, Texas is throwing for 300-plus yards in every game. You look at Oklahoma State as well. They've been looking to establish the run a little bit more, but I think for them, it was all about a matchup situation. Oregon State can't stop the run. So if you're Mike Gundy, Chuba Hubbard's going to get a ton of carries. I think Mike's smart enough to understand that you got to attack this Texas team vertically. They can't stop the pass. Here's one thing I will say, though, about Oklahoma State. They've covered 5 straight games as an underdog. And in those 5 games, they've won 4 of them outright. Listen, here's the thing about Texas, guys. They are a good underdog team, but I don't really like them laying points. Why are they laying 7 points here? Can anybody fucking tell me? Why do we keep talking how good Texas is? They can't fucking stop anybody. Texas is not back. Stop it. They have a good quarterback. That's about it. They have a good group of playmakers. That's about it. But they can't fucking stop anybody. And it's not just going to change here. Texas is fucking not back. Stop saying it. You look like an asshole. They definitely don't cover either. They might win, but if you're going to give me 7 points with a team that's covered 5 straight as an underdog and won 4 of them outright, I'm taking the Cowboys here. I think the best play, though, is over the total. These games, and these games have not come in. These games you would expect to be high scoring. You look at last week, Washington State, Houston, didn't come near the total. Arizona, Texas Tech, didn't come near the total. Funny, though, a team that you do expect to go over a lot, Oklahoma State, they put up 40 or more in every game. And Texas, they've given up 45 against the only competent team they've played. And all 3 of their games have gone over. So I think the writing's on the wall in this game. Should be a fun one. All right. Does Antonio Brown play again? Yeah, I don't think he does. No. I mean, I think people are just kind of sick of his antics. And again, I want to make this clear. I talked about Antonio Brown glowingly before any of this sexual assault stuff. I was actually blown away they let him play last week. I think that's Bill Belichick being a schemy shithead, trying to get a win under his belt in a game that he didn't even need to get him in. I mean, that was just classless as usual from the Patriots. So I don't think anyone's so overly surprised. I mean, one of the shadiest groups in the league. Should have played last week. Bolton is beating Sunderland. How about that? I didn't even notice that. How about that? Bolton is back. Man City's got 7 goals in 61 minutes. Watford is awful. I actually have win to nil in that game, so I couldn't care less how many goals Man City score. I just need them to keep a clean sheet. How about that? Bolton is beating Sunderland. Unbelievable. Some shocking scores in the League One. Peterborough's being clean sheeted right now. Lincoln is losing 4-0 to Oxford. Southend beating Milton Keynes. Unbelievable. Rotherham's being shut out at Shrewsbury. Unbelievable. League One being put on the top of their head this week. Let's see how my bets are looking in League Two. What did I play? I took Forest Green. They haven't scored yet at Stevenage. Well, we need a goal there. I took the under in Walsall Scunthorpe. That's 0-0. Good. Flash took both teams to score, I believe, in Crawley Town, Northampton. We need one from Crawley there. Crawley's being shut out as well. A lot of really good teams going forward are struggling. How about that? Shock of the day, though, is Bolton, no? Unbelievable. They must be going nuts up in Bolton. Let's see if they can get a win. All right, let's go through some football here. Let's go through games here. We got about 12 minutes to go. All right, we'll start up at the top here. Did you discuss Miami Central Michigan? No, and I don't have much of an opinion. Central Michigan's bad. I don't even know who's playing for them today. They've had a ton of injuries. South Carolina, Missouri. Missouri's actually been one of the better defensive teams in the country. Be interesting to see how they play Tyler Helinski today. No opinion there. Oklahoma State, Texas, talked about it. Cowboys will sign AB. Interesting. Donnie Rightside thinks the Cowboys will sign Antonio Brown. Another classless team, so wouldn't surprise us. Jeff is the worst. If he says Michigan, get on Wisconsin. You think by now this guy who's doing this, he would just kind of like nobody. I don't think anyone's like, oh no, Jeff took Michigan, so I'm going to take Wisconsin. I think it's just useless. It's just the same guy just creating multiple accounts. It's really almost sad. I mean, I hope that guy finds some sort of life. I mean, go out. Listen, you know what is sad about trolls is, and we have some time here. What they're doing is almost sad in a way because they're not living their life. You live one life, bro. Go out and live it. Why are you worried about people you don't like? Go out and live your life. I do it too much. I worry about other people. I've started to wake up and smell the coffee. I don't even much care anymore. You talk bad about me on Twitter, I just get rid of you. I don't have time for it. I don't want your negativity. If you bring it to me, sometimes and that's just the weak person in me to still care about it. You live only once, bro. Why are you bothering someone at 11 in the morning on a Saturday where he's just trying to give out free info on college football? It's almost sad. You get kids dying of cancer. You have people that are in jail and they didn't do it. You have people that have no food to eat at night. And you're wasting your life with this. I hope you see the light of day, man. I really do. It's sad that you waste your time with such useless stuff. Such useless stuff. What else do we have here? My cousin Kirby asks, is Jim Harbaugh on the hot seat? Of course he is. He's not won anything there. Of course he is on the hot seat. If he loses today, it's going to get real fucking hot. I mean, there's really not a better spot if you're Michigan to be in. You're off a bye. You've had plenty of time to prepare. You need to come to play and be prepared in this game. By the way, I love the fact that this game's at 12 Eastern. Nice group of games today if you're a neutral. Texas team total over 41.5. Yeah, or just take the over. I think both teams will score. What's up, Ace? Thanks for watching. Texas is not back is an evergreen statement. They're good every year. Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess if making a bowl game is good, then okay. I guess. I mean, but they're very overrated. They act like they have their own TV network. That's how arrogant Texas is. What do you think of Tom Herman? I think he's a great underdog coach, but I don't want to lay points with Tom Herman. Thank you, Corio. Corio listening in from Winnipeg, Manitoba. Welcome in. Great stuff. Would you consider Southern Miss against Alabama? If I had to play it, I would. I mean, Southern Miss is not awful, but I mean, Alabama's going to score a boatload of points there. That's what I worry about. Southern Miss is not good on defense. How about the Eagles tomorrow, big man? Well, how about you watch the show at 12 Eastern tomorrow, and we'll talk about it. Do I think that Auburn will win against Texas A&M? If you're asking me, no. I do not think Auburn will beat Texas A&M. Give me the good quarterback. Someone's asking about Wagner. Yeah, I'm not betting Wagner against any FBS team. Melissa Glenn, 7-0 Man City. Yeah, I need them to keep a clean sheet. That's my goal at this point. Yes, Simon, it is. What about Missouri minus 9.5? Seems too high. South Carolina, I think, can move the football. Is this Missouri defense real? I'm going to say no. Does Michigan State rebound today and cover? I don't think so. But Hunter Johnson's not a good quarterback, so they may. Feel like that game's low scoring. Other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. I went over most of the games you're asking about. I gave you an opinion on most of them. There are very few shows that are putting out the info that I am. In fact, I don't think there are any. You have shows out there that They don't even know the lines in these games. You have shows out there that are telling you that they need to see Clemson prove it. I've actually heard people say that on shows. They're not impressed by Trevor Lawrence. Like, what? Where do you come up with this stuff? ULL Ohio thoughts. I took ULL. I got them +3. Will Arkansas smash today? They should. I mean, Rakeem Boyd should have a big day for Arkansas. San Jose's bad. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for checking out the show. Gonna get off here now. Give me a couple minutes to get in some plays and get ready for a day of college football. Hope you all enjoy your day. Hope you win all sorts of money. I need a big day. I didn't have a good day last week. You know, NFL's been good to me. I've had a good season in the NFL so far, but I need a good college day. So that's the goal. According to Chris Ballas, writer for the Michigan Wolverines, Donovan Peoples-Jones is warming up and expecting to play. So that's good news. Be a big addition if he can play. You need that. All right. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for checking the show out. Tomorrow I'll be on at 12 Eastern on SBR. I'll join Donnie Rightside, so make sure you join me for that. And that'll be it. You all have a great day. Thank you for watching.